Welcome back to the Yins Betcha podcast. We are back again. Kevin always here. As usual, it feels good to be back talking again. We have some stuff to get through. We have playoff football. We have NFL football. We'll get there to that first, and then we'll go into the college football slate. 2 games of that for the playoffs. And we're going to have our same callers we had last week, but only the winners this week. So Dante from Notre Dame and Sean from Ohio State will be calling in, giving us their takes on their team for the week. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. Another great week. Thank you guys for watching last week. Like and subscribe. Keep watching. We had
had our most views ever. Over 50 for that episode, so thank you.
Thank you.
Probably helped that we had multiple guests. I'm sure they may have shared it with their friends and family.
Yeah.
So, we appreciate that, and obviously the more subscribers and views we get, the more will get pushed out there. So.
Keep liking, subscribing, comment down below. I don't. Kendall scared me the other week, and she said that they might be turned off, but I think they're on. So you should be able to comment. Please leave us any feedback if you can. That's being one of your own critic here too. So
and once football, we're obviously football heavy.
Yes, we are.
Once football ends, we may be starting for some topics.
Yeah,
we'll obviously get into the height of the NBA, college basketball.
We got March Madness still left. We got some stuff. Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not as good at diving as deep into those, giving predictions. We're definitely not going to go through the entire top 25 slate for predictions or nothing crazy like that like we do for football. So but we do have Thunder Cavs again.
Yes, tonight. We are back again. Starts a little bit later than what we started at around 7:15, so it's going to start at 7:30. So we'll be watching a little bit, which will be exciting too. But yeah, okay. So we can get into it. We'll start with the NFL.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get our teams out of the way, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, this is a good one.
These are the times that I wish that we could just grab the microphones and live
like 2 seconds down the road,
or or we could just kind of hop on together. If I knew how to turn this shit on,
we
I would just call you after games. But we obviously had several days to decompress from our losses.
Yeah.
I'm sure we got a lot to say, so we'll start with your Steelers first.
I knew this was going to happen. I said it last week. I liked the points, but they didn't cover, so it's all down bad at this point for me. So I'll start. Right hand up. I'm starting to listen to the Yinzers that won Atomic on 4 years ago.
Oh boy.
I'm at that point. I'm there. I'm there. I'm not afraid to say it any longer. I thought everyone was freaking crazy for years, 5 years, even back when people were talking about him leaving 5 years ago. And we held on to Big Ben too long, I know. And he wanted to stay, so we kept him staying. The Rooney's aren't going to let him freaking not play. And that's how the whole organization is going to be too. They're not going to fire Tomlin.
Yeah.
It's never going to be that. I don't know. I'm so upset. I got nothing. I come on here for 5 weeks in a row and talk how bad they are. But it is just so sad that I'm back here again. 5 games in a row we lose. 5. I don't know. God, I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. I hate the fact. I hate Arthur Smith. I liked him at the beginning of the year. Najee looked better at running, but it's not play action. We cannot be play action anymore. I'm done with it. I know we have a style of football we played for years. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we played it. But, we don't have those same guys anymore.
Yeah.
And it's all moving. And we have 2 free agent quarterbacks now who could leave. What are we doing in quarterback position now?
You want Darnold?
No, if that happened, I'll be so upset. I don't even know if I'll watch.
It made me think of, when we had Tim on several weeks ago, and, you thought, obviously, he was the Browns fan, and he talked about, for years, the Browns have had a lack of identity. They have no identity. And the Steelers, yes, they have one, run the football, defense, all that. That's just not who they are anymore.
Right.
It really kind of compares to, when you talk about Ohio State, Michigan, look how great Ohio State looks. But what did they try to do to Michigan? They couldn't stand the fact that his team was laid in soft.
Yeah.
Whoever has won the rushing battles won 22 straight games. Well, So he played into that. I'm going to outrush Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't fucking do it. And he loses to a team that had 5 losses, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the problem with Tom. Like, the team is not who they are anymore.
Mm-mm.
They have, to a lot of extent, overachieved. This whole hasn't had a losing record thing is becoming a joke now. Like,
It's a joke,
It was something that, like, he can hang his hat on.
Yeah.
And trust me, as a Vikings fan, you're like, welcome to mediocrity. Like, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
The peak is division title. But the Steelers are a different franchise. This is a franchise that has won 6 Super Bowls.
Yes.
So you're like, the fan base is, and this is why I don't like them, a lot of them, like, because you can't win the Super Bowl every year. Like,
no.
I know it's their God-given right. They feel like we should be in it. But the fact is, the numbers don't lie. There's been 59 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You've been to less than 20%.
Yeah.
So it's not like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just what, it's a numbers game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm used to it. I've never seen my team even play in a Super Bowl. So I understand that it's the peak. It frustrates the shit out of me. We talked about this, that Minnesota's got the 4th best winning percentage of all time.
Yeah.
And out of the top 15 teams in the NFL, they all have Super Bowls except for us. And everybody in the top 10 has multiple Super Bowls. We don't have a single one. So
oh my God.
Part of me wishes we were the Browns or the Lions, where, like, I can just accept sucking.
Yeah.
And then it's enjoyable when they pop up every other, every 10 years or something. But to be competitive, but then not show anything in the playoffs. Like, I'm used to it as a fan. I've never seen my team win 2 playoff games in a row.
Yeah.
Like, think about that for a minute. Ever.
That's
so
crazy.
I have not been alive long enough to see that happen. So, and the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in, was it now 11 years?
11 years.
6 straight games. So, the problem with this whole, he gets to 500, doesn't have a losing record, that's how you get stuck in mediocrity.
Yeah.
Because you're not building through the draft. They've never really been a franchise that spends a ton of money in free agency. They don't really make splashes in trades or anything crazy like that.
Yeah.
They've always been a franchise that is built from the draft and built from within and created a culture and identities and all that.
There was nothing ever better than drafting a 6th-round wide receiver that was a stud. Like, that's what we were able to do.
And they still seem to, for years they would still hit on players even late in the round. Like, which is how they were able to stay competitive. I mean, T.J. Watt was a little bit of a steal. Right?
It was,
I mean, just like think about like some of the guys. It's not like they've been able to stay consistently competitive without being in the top 10 of the draft. But you need to accept that it is time to rebuild.
Yeah,
I think it's time to embrace. Let's just finish last in the division.
Yeah.
For 2 or 3 years. Let's get some draft picks and just fucking build it.
Yeah, let's build
Otherwise,
it back.
if you keep going the way you're going,
right?
This is it.
This is all you're gonna get.
This is what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Being happy with just making the playoffs, and it sucks. Trust me.
It is.
And we'll talk. I know we're talking Vikings next,
Yeah.
and this is the first year I feel differently about losing in the playoffs than I ever have. I'm still upset about how it went down.
Yeah.
But I am seeing some silver linings, and I'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I can easily put myself in your shoes because I've been there with my franchise. And it feels like there is no end in sight. Because it's like, what are we doing?
What are we doing next?
We don't have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you look at it, even though Russ was good at the beginning, I didn't think he was ever going to take you to the Super Bowl, but he was somebody that was going to keep you competitive.
Yeah.
But the long game is, what are you going to do?
Right.
Draft one. But there's other needs. I don't even think the defense is as good as they
they're
claim
not.
to be.
They're not.
Baltimore rushed for 300 yards. I mean, that's demoralizing for
the
Steelers to lose that.
It's time to figure it out. Yeah, like this year, like we played great defensive games this year. Like we do. But then it really just fell off. And now at this point I have no words for it. Like, it was the best defense in the league. I really thought, like, through week 7. And of course our first half of the year was pretty light.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I just can't believe how bad we lost to the Chiefs, to the Ravens again. In the back half of what the Eagles freaking killed us. Like, not good. I have no words. I don't know where we go. What are they doing? What is front office doing? They're not going to fire GM. They're just not going to fire.
They're not going to fire a coach. I don't think either. I mean,
Yeah.
they again, that's another thing they hang their hat on, is that they don't have coaching changes. You know, three
Yeah.
in 60 years or whatever crazy number it is. So
Right. Now, like I said at the top of this conversation, I am listening. I guess I'm not ready to let Tommy go, but if this happens again next year, okay, time to switch, time to get out. Like, we need
so
something.
that's your timeline. You give him
that one more year.
And what would be?
Because it has
what saves his job then? What would be like? I mean, is it Super Bowl or bust, or are we saying we got to get this playoff streak out of the way? Go win a damn playoff game.
I think it is the playoffs, but he needs to win more than just one at this point. Okay. It's been 11 years for us to even make a run to a Super Bowl. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna have to be that. I feel like it's gonna have to be a win in a divisional round, and then you lose the championship. I guess.
Sure.
Can we do that next year? I don't think so. I don't think we can.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals. I feel like the Bengals are only going to go out.
Oh, and they're going to get their key players back on defense next year. Like they lost
the Browns
so
are always
much.
going to be the Browns. I mean,
but they'll pop up one year and win like 9 games, and then they
can't get any worse than what they did.
Yeah,
but I still think Pittsburgh would be better than going into it.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think Baltimore's going to be tailing off anytime soon. Henry's getting older, especially in running back.
Yeah, they'll find one. They'll find a running back. Like they have Lamar, who is MVP this year. They'll find it. They'll be fine. And I think honestly, even though he lost his team as a division rival, this team can do it. And I don't think a lot of people,
they really can.
It feels like they're not. People aren't really taught. Like they talk about the Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, but they're not really talking about the Ravens. Like,
and that'll probably be the last game we talk about. I still we're probably an hour away from predicting those games. I still don't have a fucking pick.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk through it and I'll come up with a pick, but I might have to be like Wilbon and push. I don't know. Like I can't.
Right.
I already did a parlay for this weekend.
Damn.
And I left that game off.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. So we'll talk through that one. But,
yeah, we will.
But yeah, I mean, the only prediction I kind of gave for that game was. And I talked about this in the regular season matchup they had.
Mm-hmm.
If they run the fucking football, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Like I never would have guessed the way they ran on me. That
300.
was just as much as I hate the Steelers, I hate watching the Steelers.
Yeah.
But I cannot believe I never saw the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers look that bad. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. The holes that were there, and it was just.
And I thought
that's the worst way to lose.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather get thrown on, or 4 or 5 turnovers. Like they just couldn't stop it.
I know.
And it almost looked like they gave up.
Yeah.
Cam was off the field at one point with TJ. Like.
Yeah, we can't.
And that's the thing. They're always like the Watts and the Boses, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are just freaks, and I don't know. Is it just because they lay their body out on the line like that?
It's always trying. Yeah,
they're always something.
Trying. But they're trying every play.
Yeah.
And Jadeveon Clowney.
It's just the way they throw their bodies around.
Yeah. And Jadeveon Clowney always said, like, I'm gonna give you, like, if the people are driving on us, like I remember him saying, like, I'm gonna go after it like every 2 out of 4 downs, like that is in said drive. So like the fact that those two groups of brothers, they went for it every play. Mm-hmm. And it's that's the only thing we have right now is TJ Watt.
Yeah, but they kind of disappeared. I don't know.
Yeah, he got double teamed. He got double teamed.
No tackles.
He didn't get anything. He got a pressure.
I mean, double team is
or two.
Yeah.
But like it seems like they actually were able to shut him down, which isn't good. He usually was always superior to that. So.
Well, if he's getting double teamed, I mean somebody else is open.
Yeah.
So, and again, I mean Baltimore, they're a tricky team. If they run the football, they could beat anybody. I mean, and we're talking about a team that can win the Super Bowl. 100%.
I mean, I'll give my. I mean, now that we're done, I'll just talk about the draft. I saw Buka for our mock as of right now, and I actually love that. We need someone else next to Pickens, and Pickens looked way better. Touchdown and 90 yards.
Slow first half. I started wondering, man, is he really going to?
I know, but I think he's like that guy who can catch everything. I hate the fact that he fights every run and tries to get a flag on every play, but like he can catch the ball like nobody's business. So like we just need someone next to him. And Ibuka, if he runs out of the slot, like he can be great. So
They are still a franchise that never gives up, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they fell behind 21-0, and they easily could have laid over and died, but they fought. I mean,
Yeah.
The defense couldn't make up for their lack of.
Yeah, I mean, our third quarter, I thought,
talent,
like,
but
let's
yeah.
go. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then they scored their touchdown, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I gotta say. I'm
I
kind
would
of
like to
glad
get.
it's over.
I know we have a couple guests on later on for the college football
Mhm.
talk, but I do want to table some of the Steeler discussion for the next couple of weeks. I sent you that tweet from my friend who announces basketball and football in high school.
Yeah.
Over in PA, Chris. I think I'd like to get him on in a couple of weeks
Yeah.
to get some true talk for not just Steelers, but really Pittsburgh sports in general.
I would love to hear that. I would love to
Yeah.
hear some of his takes on Steelers, and I would love to bounce
Yeah.
off that. That would
Yeah.
be great.
So I'd like to get him on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do the same for the Vikings. It might be a good off-season talk, especially once we see some of the moves that we make. So,
Yeah. Right.
So no more Steeler talk. You're good.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm glad it's over. We're gonna need to figure out the quarterback position. I really don't think they're not gonna let two of them walk. So I mean, as of right now, they're free agents, but I don't see them.
Yeah, you would think they got to have some familiarity.
Because there's no other plan here. Like I don't hear anything from from prior in Pittsburgh. Like there's nothing going on right now other than just these two guys are free agents. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. I'm done. Yeah, 28-14 we lose. I'm kind of glad we lost. I don't want to watch anymore.
So they would have, had they won the hypothetical, they would have been Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have. I would rematch. If we were playing any better on defense and went into Kansas City, I would have taken
With some
that.
starters that haven't played in 3 weeks.
Yep.
I got some talks once we get to there about that. So I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, let's run down Rams 27, Vikings 9.
Back-to-back weeks, 9 points. Scored 1 touchdown.
Oh, dude, yeah.
The recap, if I had to give a headline,
Yeah.
is Sam Darnold era ends, J.J. McCarthy era begins.
That's it.
That was what I was texting out to everybody during the game. I was doing the countdown to whoever was fortunate enough to talk to me that night. It was, we're 30 minutes away from J.J. McCarthy. We're 15 minutes away from J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the game got out of hand quick. You could see where it was headed. I would be curious to see where the game could end up if we were tied 10-10 in the second quarter like we should have been.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was at the bar, so I didn't get the full explanation. Didn't get to hear the rules analyst, Troy Aikman, everybody on the broadcast.
Did you record it?
Double down on the fact that, that's an incomplete pass.
Oh.
Okay. By the letter of the rule, was his hand moving forward, getting rid of the ball? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Was he about to get fucking sacked? Was his head pointed to the ground because the defender was wrapped around him? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, it's fucking intentional grounding.
Yeah,
Okay?
so you should have felt a flag at least.
If that's the letter of the rule, I want every NFL quarterback to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me how to get this pushed to every NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
If you're about to get sacked, just flick the fucking ball forward 2 inches before you get tackled, and you're good. Apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did it just. I said it to you the day before when the Sunday night broadcast ended at the Tampa Bay game, and they announced, we're going to Philadelphia for the next NBC broadcast. We played the winner of the Rams and Vikings. And then for the next 60 seconds, they talked about the Rams. And that was it. And they went off the air. So I was like, okay. We already have our matchup, apparently. And the whole LA Fire shit, there wasn't egregious calls that I could sit here and point, this is why, right? Mm-hmm. The end of the day, Darnold got sacked 9 fucking times, okay? Well, you're not going to win very many football games if you're giving up 9 sacks.
Yeah.
He held on to the ball entirely too fucking long. He's the guy that, when he was with the Jets, talked about seeing ghosts. Apparently they came back. He looked terrible.
Yeah, he
did.
2
games.
He did.
He did exactly what I thought at the beginning of the season he could do, which was lead this team to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Did I ever think that we would win 14 games? No. Especially win 14 games and be a number 5 seed. Which, by the way, at the halftime of not our game, but the game prior, they talked about that. Maybe changing that rule. Of course.
I said that. I remember you said
predicted
that.
a month ago.
That's right.
That we would be the first team to do it and probably the fucking last.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the next time that we win the division at 9-8 or 10-7, we'll be headed on the road to a 13-win wildcard team. That's probably what's going to happen. The other rule change, so that while I'm on that, they are now talking about looking at face mask penalties. They're going to put that on the table for the 2025 meetings.
Oh, jeez.
Which that probably cost us our regular season game against them.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, they overachieved. This was supposed to be what the GM labeled as a competitive rebuild. It was every bit of that. They obviously were competitive.
Yeah.
They literally lost to 2 NFL teams the entire season. So they got swept by the Lions, swept by the Rams. That's it.
Yeah.
That ends the season. It's just crazy to think about that didn't even equal a wild card win. You know, like just only losing to 2 teams all year. I just can't wrap my head around they didn't even win a playoff game.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but all the ridiculous talk about, the Vikings going to trade J.J. McCarthy. The teams popped up at who was interested.
Giants was one.
Giants, Raiders, Browns.
Yeah.
That can fucking go away. And I tell you right now, I would be willing to, if the Vikings did that, if they traded J.J. McCarthy after what just happened the last 2 weeks, after 35 years of fandom, I'd have to seriously consider what I'm doing here. Because I've in 35 years, not only have I not seen my team win a Super Bowl, I've never had a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
The closest thing we had was Dante Culpepper. That's the closest that we had.
Dante was good. I mean,
yeah, maybe if he didn't have fucking hands that were smaller than mine, he could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
But he had some good years. But we've never had a franchise quarterback ever, and I really feel like we've got one waiting in the wings. And it's just the situation that he'd be coming into. Again, I actually think the reason I wouldn't be just mad about the Vikings trading JJ because of the Vikings prospects. I would be mad for JJ. Like if they would have traded him to the fucking Giants, you're not only going to ruin our franchise, you're going to ruin his career. So I don't want him to be in a bad situation. I love the kid. I'd take a bullet for him.
Yeah, really.
He brought a national championship.
Oh yeah,
with his just his leadership ability. I'll never forget the talk he had in 2020 after we had that shit COVID year. And he said, listen, everybody in this locker room is working their tails off. We're going to make it to the promised land. And he didn't get to play much in 21. Cade McNamara was kind of like the Sam Darnold of that year.
Yeah.
This is why I'm comparing the Michigan Viking thing.
Yeah.
This is why I think our future is bright. So we basically had our game manager, won a Big Ten championship, got to the playoffs, got smoked in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just like the Vikings did Sunday night.
Right.
And then the next year became JJ's team, made the playoffs. We had a ridiculous loss to TCU that shouldn't have happened. And I'll never forget watching him on that sideline, watching TCU celebrate, and his post-game interview promising that we will be back on this stage.
Yeah.
And they went back and ran the fucking table. That's what I see coming. The next couple of years, I think he's going to get us to the promised land. I do.
You do.
I do. And I think if we keep him on that rookie contract, we've got the salary cap space to do it.
Yeah. You have all the weapons you need.
We have all the weapons.
You're bringing back Aaron Jones, right?
We could use a line. I mean, 9 sacks on Sunday.
Could use a line.
But again, 6 of the 9 sacks were more than a 3-second drawback. Gotta get rid of the fucking football.
Yeah.
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
That's about the time you have. I think
he was taking way too long in some pockets.
Entirely too long.
He needs to step up and start.
Run it, throw it away.
Yeah,
something.
and he just kept dropping back. Like you got to step up. Like you have to go through the line. If you run it, you run. Like,
it wasn't just the fact that he took 9 sacks.
Yeah.
Those 9 sacks equaled negative 87 yards. That's a fucking football field.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to take sacks and lose 3 or 4 yards, but we were losing 10, 12, 15 per sack.
Man. Yeah.
I mean, those are absolute drive killers.
Yeah.
You know? And then you can't get the running game going. I do think we threw too much as it is.
Yeah.
I kept saying that, run the goddamn football. I say it every week.
I just don't want I have an analogy for you.
Okay.
I'm thinking back to probably my top 5 favorite movie of all time. The Moneyball. I'm thinking back to the Oakland A's. I'm thinking back to what Billy Beane tried to do. I'm not talking about financials for you guys at all. I'm just talking about like how you think of JJ is how I think of those Oakland A's that won all those games, and then when they made the playoff, they didn't have the team to do it. So they got on base, they hit the ball, they did everything they had to do to get on base and win these games and so many games in a row. I'm afraid that JJ is like, I love him. I love him so much, what he did for me. And now he can do that for you in the Vikings with the playoffs, but I'm afraid that that's what I'm looking at. I don't take anything away from his game. I don't at all. I think he's one of the best. I think he can be a great pocket passer, and he can run the ball, and he can be smart with the ball. I'm just like, I don't want you to go through that. I don't want you. I just, listen, I am like, I know.
And I would be, listen, if he doesn't pan out, I would be the first. Like I said, I readily admit that in '98, now granted I was 17 years old. Okay, how much shit do I really know at 17? But I was chirping to anybody that would listen that Ryan Leaf was going to be a better quarterback than Peyton Manning. I said those words. And 26 years later, I can admit, and I was admitting by the year 2000 that I was dead fucking wrong, okay? And it only got worse every single year after that. So I would be the first to admit it. Because, And that's why I'm not even quick to throw other people. I mean, Darnold. I was probably one that made fun of Darnold, especially because, anytime you're a number one draft pick, the target's going to be on you, right? You're always going to be looked at like, okay, you got to perform. And he didn't. Yeah. And he went to another South Carolina, and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
But barring those two games, I mean, he had a great year, right? Like his resurgence, he definitely made himself some money. He lost a lot of money in the last 2 weeks, but he's still going. Somebody's going to take a chance on him.
Yeah, somebody is.
And I don't think it should be you.
You don't.
I don't. I mean, there's still probably the possibility of the franchise tag, and I think that had he won a couple playoff games, or God forbid the Super Bowl, would they have probably given him money? Yes, you almost kind of have to. Right. But I do think it was going to probably, the way it was headed was, in my opinion, let's franchise him, make sure JJ's ready to go. Yeah. Or just give him another year, just sit back, and which wouldn't be the end of the world. But after these two games, I will be stunned if they bring him back. I really would. And just reading through the tea leaves of the exit interviews that O'Connell gave and Jefferson gave, and let's keep in mind too, O'Connell doesn't have a contract extension yet. So that might be the first thing that I know. Glazier did that. He's not going to get traded. That's just, I don't know why the fucking NFL, they every time something good's happening, we got to figure out how to knock us down a peg. I can't really fucking stand it.
I can't.
They've said it about Jefferson. He wants out of there. Where is that coming from? Like and wide receivers generally, yes. Like Diggs was chirping his way out of there. Fucking Randy Moss did. I wasn't a huge Randy Moss fan. Because I'll never forget when we lost the playoff game when he said this franchise is cursed. 3 months later, he signs a long-term deal. I was like, why? I'm like, if that's the things you're gonna say, then fucking go somewhere else.
Yeah, why are you playing?
And by the way, he never ended up winning a goddamn Super Bowl. He was on an undefeated New England Patriot team.
Oh, that was that year. That's right.
Yes, set an NFL record.
Holy crap!
All of that happened in 1 year, and he still didn't win it. Do I say it's because of Randy Moss? No, but typically, cancerous wide receivers. How many Super Bowl rings do they have? T.O. never won one. Been to one. Never won one.
Antonio never won one.
Antonio Brown. Never won. That's when the Steelers started
so toxic
going down. And you always seem to have a receiver. It
feels like it's Pickens now.
I called Juju AB Jr. And now, yes, my wife has heard it. I've called Pickens AB3. So,
why do we find these toxic dudes?
That's Tomlin. That's the culture. He's a player's coach, and this is what the players do now.
Good point.
That's what it is.
That's a good point.
So, I don't think that's not going to happen. But it is interesting that we don't. I feel like that might be the first thing we need to do.
Yeah.
Let's pay this guy.
Right.
Because yes, he's 0-2 in the playoffs. He is. But if I'm going to make excuses or reasons, the first playoff game we had a shit fucking defense. So that was completely on Ed Donatel. our Viking defense that year literally got Daniel Jones paid because we made him look, like a Hall of Famer in that playoff game. And then ever since then, but within a season and a half he's being cut.
Yeah.
And now he's on our practice squad.
Yeah,
so,
really.
So what's that say? And then and then you have this year, which again, Donald peaked, got us in the playoffs, which I predicted, which is why I made the bet with you.
Yeah.
I knew that 1 year in San Francisco, being around that winning culture, being around an offensive genius like Shanahan, and to me, O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer, which only helps JJ's chances.
Yeah.
But yes, if the way that everything is constructed with our weapons, the offensive scheme that we have, and just the culture, I would call it, of the Vikings, fits JJ's personality to a T. Like, this is a perfect environment.
Yeah. I completely agree.
If it doesn't work out here, I would maybe label him a bust, unless he went somewhere else and did it.
Yeah.
But if he can't work it out here, then he doesn't have this.
Especially with O'Connell. O'Connell is the QB whisperer. I mean, he's made Sam Darnold win 14 games. The only thing is like, if Vikings come out and say they are going to franchise tag him, the only thing I'm afraid of is like, yes, I think they'll get him ready enough for JJ to come in, but I also think that this guy won you 14 games last year, and they're going to look at that and be like,
And listen, I've always been completely brutally honest with any of our quarterbacks, especially ones that we've drafted, and I've always been right about it.
Yeah.
Like when we drafted Christian Ponder, I'm like, why? Like literally, like I mean, and we drafted him like 12.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even projected in the first round. So I'm like, if that was your guy, fine, get him in the fucking second round. Nobody else was looking at him. And within 3 years, he's a stay-at-home dad. So I was completely right about him.
Right.
Bridgewater was one that, if he doesn't have that knee injury, he might have been better than I thought.
Yeah.
What I loved about where we got him, we traded back up into the first round to get him. After already, I forget who we drafted. Some drafted some corner in that draft, which, man, we never hit on that. We're always terrible drafting corners. He didn't get a fair shake because of his injuries.
Yeah.
I wasn't over the moon about it. I wondered how great he could be. I still think he was a solid guy. He was never going to win a Super Bowl. Definitely would be a better backup, I think, from that standpoint. But I'm just tired of picking up 30 to 35-year-old quarterbacks in free agency.
I know.
I'm over it. Like,
I'm already over it, and I did it for 1 year.
All the great teams that are out there.
Yeah.
Look where their quarterbacks came from. They drafted them, they developed them, and they had them for 15, 20 years. It's just that's the formula. That's what you gotta have a franchise.
And you did it with JJ.
Period.
You did it with JJ.
And I really truly think
that's
it is.
A great
and if
point.
it's not, I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
It's gonna take definitely a couple of years. Do I think we're gonna win a Super Bowl next year? No, I don't. If everything played out right,
playoffs,
is it possible?
Yeah.
100%. I do think we can make the playoffs. Yeah. I do. I think Detroit is going to take a step back next year because I do question how much of it is their coordinators. Campbell didn't do shit in Miami. It took him 2 years to get going in Detroit. I think he's built a culture there that they're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be in the running. They ain't going 15-2 next year.
No,
I'll tell you
that either.
So I think we're going to rise up. I think they're going to take a peg down.
Yeah.
Because I do think both of those coordinators are probably the two best head coaching candidates.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of coordinators, Brian Flores is probably getting his chance at a job now, the head coaching.
Yeah.
So,
I actually still think he is going to be a year away. I think he's got so much baggage
he does.
from what happened in Miami.
And I don't even think it's all his fault.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Maybe part of this is just wishful thinking and trying to will it into existence and it doesn't go anywhere. But I think there's enough candidates out there that he may get overlooked with that. I do.
I mean, I could see it. I could definitely see it.
I still think a lot of franchises kind of bypass them. I mean, look at the Patriots. I mean, they keep hiring with it. Not granted, Jared Mayo was a black head coach. So, but it's almost like they're handpicking their guys. And whatever. I mean, Vrabel's a legend there. Like, so, and he's a decent coach.
Yeah.
I think he overachieved in Tennessee, for all those years.
I think so too. I think him with the playoff runs that they had, especially with who he had, I think that was Derrick Henry. But
I just think the Titans realized that they were never gonna get to the mountaintop with the guy,
But I do think that Kraft will give him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I think Robert Kraft loves the guy. I think you're going to see a lot of the Patriots might be back up top on the NFC East. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or AFC East. So
yeah, they could be. It's to take a couple years though.
It will.
Yeah, they need a lot. They need a lot of pieces. They got the quarterback though.
I think they do.
May looks good.
Yeah.
This whole class. I tell you what
a class!
In about 5 to 10 years, if JJ pans out, this draft class could be.
We got to remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
as good as Daniels has been, and Drake May, even Bo Nix. I'll give credit to Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
What if JJ's the best out of them all?
That would be awesome.
Or just let's say JJ's on the same level of those three.
Mm-hmm.
You like our chances of going?
Yeah.
Actually, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if he's just on par with these guys,
man,
it could be.
If you bring everyone,
we got
back.
more pieces than those teams do.
Yeah.
We definitely have way more New England. I mean, Washington's still playing. I mean, if Washington shocks the world on Saturday night, then maybe Daniels ends up winning Rookie of the Year because of that. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Denver got exposed a little bit in the playoffs, but Buffalo,
But Denver will be back. I mean, Sean Payton found his guy.
Yeah, and they got a good defense around him too.
Yeah.
But man, this is like I said it all year. I kind of laid the foundation that I didn't. I picked us. Of course, I picked us.
Yeah.
I thought that we have enough that we could have made a run, right? But we just our line obviously got exposed the last 2 weeks. The Lions found something.
Yeah.
The Rams exploited it even more. He just didn't have any time to throw. I mean, we weren't going to probably win that game anyway.
Right.
And it got away from us, and not much to say. I mean, kudos to the Rams. I'm sure the players' minds were all the minds of everybody back in LA and everything. I don't think they have a chance next weekend, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I'm excited for the future. I really do think we're going to be competitive for years to come.
Yeah.
We definitely need
good for you because
more pieces on the offensive line.
I wish I had that. Right now I don't.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah. I mean,
we got Darosell coming back next year. Like that injury.
In that
Rams game, the start of our podcast. When I was pissed, all we had to do was kneel on it there.
Yeah.
Like that one play.
He was out for the entire year.
Yeah, and we ended up getting Cam Robinson, who we probably wouldn't have traded for had Darosell not got hurt. Now Cam is a free agent. I would love to get them both back. Get O'Neal healthy, have Darosell, Robinson. Boom, we got pieces. You get one more in the draft,
and I think you can get a good one at your pick. Right? With your pick in the first round, I think you will.
Yeah, pick 24.
24.
I would not be if one of the running backs were to slip. That might be the ticket. Pretty sure Ashton Genty's probably going to go top 10.
Yeah.
But what if Akeem Scadaboo's there, like 24? Man, that would be a great addition.
Just to have him behind Aaron Jones for a minute.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're going to do with him, too. Jones only had a 1-year contract.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We had a couple 1-year deals out there. Van Ginkel was only for 2. I'd love to lock him up.
Oh, yeah.
Grenard, we got him for a couple. But Cam Bynum's a free agent. So Stephon Gilmore. Although Gilmore's a little older.
Gilmore is old, but he can still shut some people down sometimes. I mean, yeah.
But that's it.
All right.
I mean, we'll stop
Both
there.
our teams do it. Yeah. Disappointing.
Yeah.
Well,
let's take a quick break. I think we'll be about ready. We could probably jump to college and then go back to
finish out.
Yeah, we can just do that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
It is almost 8 o'clock. I just don't want them to wait around too long.
Okay, we're back. We're going to get Dante first. Yeah,
Dante
Dante on the
first,
phone first. We're going to go from here to college, and we'll talk. It should be pretty straightforward.
We'll kind of recap Notre Dame Penn State game. And then kind of get his take for the national championship game, and we'll kind of organically talk about the recap of the game ourselves. Kind of with him
going into it, and then we'll be back to the NFL.
I wanted to jot things down about the game because it's fucking been a week now. I don't know what that'll happen. But I mean, there's some of it will probably come back to me as we start talking. So.
Yeah.
Thunder up by 10 right now, by the way. A minute to go in the first. I feel like they're going to return a favorite tonight.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Dante, what's going on?
How we doing tonight?
Oh, cheer for Notre Dame. I'm waking up the echoes, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Did you want to hear, like, the number 1 fight song?
Number 2.
Number 2.
We'll give you...
I'm not talking about Michigan.
We'll give you number 2. You're allowed to be number 2. Hopefully you're
Yeah.
not number 2 after Monday night.
Yeah.
True story there.
I am Irish through and through for this
Oh,
weekend.
I mean, there still is a game, right? Because all I've been hearing about is
Oh, yeah, Ohio State's already won
blown
that.
out, the double-digit underdog. Like, we do still have to actually play the game, right?
That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
Now I definitely got the sense when I was texting you the night of the Penn State game that even you weren't completely convinced if you play. Well, actually, I was texting you after the Ohio State game. I feel I got the vibe that you even believe that if you were a betting man, that you probably like Ohio State's chances. Is that true? Or are you starting to buy in after this week?
So, here's what I'll say. We had every excuse built in, ready to go to lose to Penn State.
Yeah.
And this team was like, F it, we're going to go ahead and pull out the dub anyhow. I mean, we're down 2 offensive linemen. Bo Collins was out, our most talented receiver.
Leonard left for a little bit at the end of the
Leonard
first
went
half.
down, Angeli led us to a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's
Yeah.
just crazy that this team has as much grit as they do, man.
Yeah.
That's what makes me feel like maybe this is the year. You know, maybe we have something special here. And Ohio State didn't really impress me all that much against Texas either. So,
Yeah. We haven't talked about that yet. We kind of planned on, maybe recapping those games as we talked to you and Sean. But you're kind of right. Although I do think, if Ohio State didn't commit the penalties that they did in the first half, that game might have gotten out of hand in the first half. So I was.
If they don't bust a 75-yard run, they're going
Right,
to
man, that just was just a backbreaker. It really.
How do you
was.
not score from the 1, right? How do you not?
Oh, that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
There were some things that Texas did that, I do think Sarkisian chokes a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what his record is against the top 5. We always seem to have heard.
We all know what James Franklin.
We know what Franklin's record
Yeah,
is. We
yeah.
knew what Harbaugh's record was
Yeah.
until a couple years ago. So it does seem like a lot of these coaches that they do get, kind of torn up for that. And now Dave's record doesn't look so bad now that he's beaten a couple top 5 teams in a row. So, but yeah, I tell you what, I don't know what surprised you the most from the Penn State Notre Dame game. It did seem like, at the first half when Penn State was running, the tempo. No huddle. I mean, they were moving the ball. I don't know really why they got away from that, but
Yeah, the tempo was concerning, and then obviously the defense wasn't getting lined up.
yeah,
Golden made some adjustments at half, which was nice. But it also seemed like they were shifting their line a lot, like their blocking scheme, and we were not adjusting to that at all. And I don't understand what the problem was. I mean, they ran the ball down our throat. We were lucky to be within 7.
yes, 100%. I felt the same way, and that field goal was huge. I think just from a mindset of going into the locker room and being shut out, not knowing what was going on with your quarterback, it looked. I think it would have been that much more bleak. But the fact that it was a 1-possession game, and it just seemed like.
And we got the ball to start the second
Yes.
half. I mean, it was huge. I mean, we could have lost the fumble too. Angeli gets hit. I thought Carter for sure had that ball.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 3 of our linemen jump on it, and we come out of the towel with it. So I was like, all right, well, there's one.
Yeah.
Unfortunate thing that happens to us.
And I will give kudos to him. I think I said, on our podcast that Tyler Warren was probably the best athlete on the field.
Yeah.
Might have been Andre Carter. That dude,
I mean,
he's going to be top
definitely
pick.
the top 2 athletes on the field.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%. I will tell you this. I mean, it's no secret. I've always hated Notre Dame my whole life. I hated all 4 teams that were in the playoffs, and I touched on that. But there is something about Marcus Freeman. Even though he's an Ohio State grad,
I do like
Notre
him.
Dame head coach,
Mm-hmm.
if I had talent and eligibility, I could play for that dude.
Yeah.
I like him. I actually like him. Notre Dame has always seemed to have coaches that were easy to hate for some reason, and I always felt like, well, it's just because they're the Notre Dame head coach. I'm gonna, actively hate him, but like I can't
Yeah.
hate Marcus Freeman. Like I actually love the dude.
Yeah.
So
He's actually genuine, man.
yes,
Like, we hire a guy that had no HC coaching experience prior. He was 1 year as DC at Notre Dame before he got the job. I mean, it was
Oh, I remember that. That's
obviously the
right.
players loved him.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Tomlin got his job. Like he just kind of came out
Yeah.
of nowhere, you know.
Really.
And he's a humble dude, man. Like
Yes.
anytime they try and put the spotlight on him, it's about the team. It's about the team.
Yep.
He reached out to Lou Holtz whenever he got the job to ask him for. You think Brian Kelly ever picked up the phone and was like, "Hey Lou,
No.
can you tell me a little bit about how to do this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That might be-
chance in hell.
No.
Tyler, that might be why we're drawn to him because that's how Harbaugh was, right? Like post game interview, they ask Harbaugh a question before they can ask the second one. Oh, here, talk to this guy, you know, and,
Right,
and he would
yeah.
bring his player. And what I love is Sharon Moore does that now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so same thing. I think he doesn't make it about himself, like you know the opposing coach will on Monday night, and that's the biggest
Yeah.
difference for me, right? If Notre Dame wins the title on Monday night, Freeman will probably get emotional, and it'll
Yeah.
be genuine and won't be fake. Fucking Day will probably be up there. His spray on beard will probably be running, and he'll be asking, "Where the fuck's Lou Holtz?" You
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
Like, and that's the
Right.
biggest
Because-
difference.
Because they're soft, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
in their heads. They're
I
soft.
guarantee if Ohio State wins on Monday too, he'll probably throw his own fucking fan base under the bus. Oh, you know, everybody was against it. It's Ohio against the world. How is it Ohio against the world when you've been fucking favored in every game? Like, you're not the underdog.
Yeah,
man.
you guys
Like,
are not.
You're literally, everybody's saying you should win.
Yeah.
You're the one that lost to a 5-loss team.
Tennessee, everyone had you as the favorites.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
And you've been a touchdown favorite in every game. Like you're not, this isn't like, you know, they're trying to steal the whole Michigan versus everybody, Detroit versus everybody.
Yeah.
Ohio versus the world. Okay. All right.
Whatever.
Yeah, let's tap the brakes. So, but I'm excited for you. I know, you know, and this is one reason I picked you. I know other Notre Dame fans, but, you know, I've known you since you were literally 8 years old. So it's finally cool to see Notre Dame relevant again for you. It just kind of seemed like right when you started getting into college football was kind of been their downturn, you know. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're always been traditionally a favorite,
Yeah.
and, you know, but really their national competitiveness kind of ended, you know, with Lou Holtz, really, you know, in the early 90s. So,
Basically, any major bowl game we've been in for like the last 30 years, we've been a laughing stock. So, to not
Yeah.
only beat the SEC champ in the Sugar Bowl and then also win the Orange Bowl in the same year, I mean,
right. That is the one cool thing about the playoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
That's the one cool thing about the playoff. I think I've been given, I probably gave you shit. I was giving my brother shit. I've been giving Ohio State fans shit that, you know, all these multiple loss teams that are still alive and playing teams that, you know, probably shouldn't have been in the playoffs, like the SMUs of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm almost like, you know, trying to poke fun at the fact that this title is like, to me, like an asterisk or something. But it really is a tough tournament, you know, like
To play all these games now.
yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of it,
I mean,
yeah.
and if Ohio State does win it, I mean, they kind of had a murderer's row of teams.
Mhm.
Like they really did
100%.
would earn
I mean,
it. Yeah,
even, Indiana is what they are. I mean, bunch
Yeah,
of James
yeah.
Madison kids playing for them, but
right.
they're still the fourth best team in the Big Ten this year.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
then we just beat Penn
Because
State.
Penn State is second or third.
Probably
Depending on
the
how you
third
look at it.
best.
Probably third.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically was second since they went to the title game, but
Yeah.
probably the third best team. Beat the SEC champs. I mean, it's been a tough gauntlet on ours.
It really has. Yeah. If they win it, they earned it.
State has had murderers row, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to give it to them.
I mean, I think I'm irritated. Ohio State is athletically, you know, probably one of the top 4 teams if there was a 14 playoff.
Yeah.
The way that the schedule would have ran out, if there was a 14 playoff this year, they would have missed
Mm-hmm.
by losing to Michigan. Which is why I would have been happy with the Texas Notre Dame championship because both of those teams would have made a 14 playoff.
Yeah.
I think it would have been, it would definitely have been Oregon because they were undefeated. No question about them. Georgia because they won the SEC.
Mhm.
You almost have to give the SEC champ a spot, you know. And then I think Notre Dame would have been 3. So Notre
Yeah.
Dame would have played Georgia in a hypothetical 14, which is what happened anyway.
Yeah.
And then I think Texas would have played Oregon, which would have been a great game. Like
Yeah.
that, I mean, to me, I think that if you would have had a 14 playoff this year, I'd have been happy with those 14.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there would have been not that much controversy to me at
Yeah.
The only one that would have had some sort of a gripe could have been Penn State, I suppose, because they would have had one loss going into the Big Ten title game, lost the Big Ten game.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
that bullshit.
But I think the tiebreaker would have been, well, they lost to Ohio State, who lost to a 5-team. So I think that would have, you know,
Yeah.
they probably would have been 5. You know, they would have been definitely the first one out.
Yeah.
I do think 8. 8 should have been the number anyway. And I still think we would end up with good playoff games. Everybody would have been on a level playing field. I do think the 4 top seeds got fucked. Now, granted, Boise and Arizona State, I don't feel that bad for because if you were really going to truly rank them, they wouldn't have been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, so whatever. Like, if you want to buy, great. Like, you're the one that's going to sit.
Arizona State for showing up. And Boise did too. They just didn't have the athletes that could.
They just don't. Yeah.
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 State. I mean, they were overmatched.
Yeah. I just want to see everybody on a level playing field. I think the buys hurt, just like they do in the MLB playoffs. Like, I really do think that everybody should be playing on the same damn weekend.
Yeah.
So it's just different in college than it is pros. There's a longer break, and that's the thing. Even the 14 playoff and the bowl games, for that matter, were a month apart. But the teams that are playing each other are both sitting for just as long. There isn't one team coming in
You
rolling.
can also look at it as a layoff for the teams that didn't participate in the title game, like Ohio State, Notre Dame, because they had that whole week off. Plus, then they were waiting on their first round matchup. So, I don't know. Was there that much more time that they had off the conference title winners?
Yeah, I think maybe just a week in some cases, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's never going to be a level playing field anyway, and especially with the schedules being different. You know, that's what some teams are taking advantage of it, like in Indiana did this year, even Penn State. You know, Penn State kind of avoided everybody in the Big Ten. They didn't have to play Indiana. They didn't play Oregon. They didn't even play Michigan, which I know Michigan was down, but
Yeah.
On the schedule, and they made sure to drop them beforehand. You know?
right.
Must be nice.
Yep.
Okay, block your way.
I do think more teams are going to start doing that too. Like, we're probably going to see even more
Sit people.
pathetic non-conference games than we have in the past because the conference schedule is
James
going to be.
Franklin trying to throw a couple shots at Freeman at the press conference about needing to be in a conference. Yeah, we're 3-0 against your conference this year.
Well, then just fucking join it.
Yeah. Right.
You might as well. I mean, they're like essentially what? So basketball, they're ACC. They're technically.
Which we went 5-0 against them this year too. 2-0 against the SEC. But who's counting?
Right. Are they still officially, unofficially ACC, like football schedule? Because they play more. Okay.
5 ACC games.
Oh,
a year
okay.
is what the contract is.
Gotcha. But they're in Big Ten in hockey, so.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just.
that's the only one, I guess, because the ACC probably doesn't even have hockey.
Well, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. But geographically, though, they should be in the Big Ten. 100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Geographically, they do. Rivalries, now that USC's over there, too, would probably make more sense.
In Michigan.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
the USC
You know,
rivalry.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Even Indiana. I mean, that could be. Indiana would be a fun, in-state.
In-state.
Purdue.
I guess.
Purdue's always been You're right.
They played them in the playoffs, so.
But yeah, even Purdue. I mean, they play Purdue quite a bit.
Yeah, Purdue. Right.
Yeah. So, and then just really, if you really think about it,
Purdue, I guess we're 4-0 against the Big Ten.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, everybody forgot about
They
Purdue.
do. Oh God.
They were easily the worst team in the country.
Yeah.
But Rutgers, I mean, like even if you played Rutgers, I mean, the New York market, Notre Dame's huge in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be basically a home game. It pretty much is anyway.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
I go see Michigan Rutgers there every other year, and Jesus, I mean, it's 70% Michigan fans. So, so it's a lot of fun. Well, so what do you feel like? What's your prediction, I guess, for Monday? I mean, I know you're gonna pick your team. You have to.
Yeah. 100% we're going to ND. I mean, if Notre Dame wins this game, it's going to be close. There's no way we're blowing out Ohio State.
Right.
But to flip that, the only way I see Ohio State winning is if they blow us out. I don't see them winning a close game against us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to say 24-20 Notre
24-20.
Dame.
Okay.
I looking at the teams on paper, I mean, we're like 2 of the top 4 defenses in the country, if not the top 2 defenses in the country. We're going to have to be able to run the ball on them. I mean, we got to milk some clock. make it an ugly slugfest type of a game because we all know Ohio State's soft and they don't want to play that. Now, the X factor is going to be their wideouts. I mean, Smith, what is it, Ibuka, Tate, those dudes, all three of them, any one of those three would be the number one wide receiver on there. 100%.
Yeah. They probably got guys on the bench that might be the number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
Players that we don't even know their names. They are truly wide receiver,
So Smith will be matched up against Leonard Moore. He's won the freshman All-American for Notre Dame this year. He's a stud. It's going to be a huge challenge. Freshman on freshman, we'll see how he does. Bray will probably be matched up against Ibuka, and then Jordan Clark is our nickel back. He's a transfer from Arizona State. He'll be matched up against Tate. I think that's going to be one we might struggle at. We'll see. I hope Clark can lock him down or at least contain him, but that one worries me a little bit. So,
Okay.
Going to have to get pressure on Will. I think if we can force Howard to throw at least one pick, we should be in the positive if we can do that. And Riley's got to have ball control. Like, we cannot turn the ball over against these guys. Literally, if we make a mistake, it might come. I can't see us if we have one turnover in this game winning the game. So let's put it that way. We got to be A+ game to pull this out. So
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm confident that we can. It's just Riley threw one questionable ball, I'll say, against that Penn State, where that the end, I don't know how the hell he even made that pick. Athletic as crap, like diving back and reaching.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hell of a play. Shouldn't have thrown it. The window was too small to begin with, but hell of a play by that DN. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think if they play, it's a winnable game if they do all the right things. It's one of those. If they played each other 10 times, Ohio State's probably going to beat them 8.
Yeah.
So I think everybody can agree with that. But you just got to hope it's just your night.
Yeah.
We need that Herb Brooks speech. They might beat us 99 out of 100, but there's that one time.
And that one time.
There's that one
Just
time.
one time.
Yep.
Well, we're pulling for you. There's no secret here.
Yeah.
Our superintendent at the school my girls go to is a Notre Dame fan as well. He's thinking about driving down to Atlanta and hoping to get a cheap ticket before kickoff.
Good luck.
I told him.
I think the cheapest I found was like $2,600.
Yeah. He's like, I think 500 is his limit. So
man.
Yeah, it might be after kickoff.
He'll get
that
in.
price. But he told me that if Notre Dame wins, that he will pay to get a shamrock put on my Michigan tattoo. So if they do it, I might have to consider it.
Oh my God.
Or at least somewhere near it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put it on it. But,
that's awesome.
so we'll see what happens. But Dante, we appreciate your time. We're talking about whether maybe having both you and Sean on, win or lose, next week to get your thoughts. And we would totally understand if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's okay.
If it doesn't end up going your way. But we'll get back in touch with you. Been fun.
Pretty cool to watch.
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, especially.
It continues that way for at least one more game.
All right.
But yeah, either way, no worries, man.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk soon.
All right, man.
We'll enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Go Irish.
All right. Take it easy.
Great insight there.
I actually forgot to ask him about the Vikings, but
Oh yeah.
I don't want to. He's on a high right now.
He is on a high. He's fine.
We'll just leave it. We'll leave it go.
I completely agree with Dante. I think it's good. You're going to need your A game, and it's going to be a tough battle. But you got to waste some clock. You got to be able to convert.
I will say, I mean, I don't have a lot to add to the Notre Dame Penn State game, but from just a compelling standpoint, like watching it, it was my favorite playoff game so far this year.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, second half of Texas Arizona State.
Oh, that was
a little.
That
fun.
was mine. That was awesome.
But I was a little. I couldn't enjoy it as much because I was worried that Texas was going to blow it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh great, Ohio State gets like fucking Arizona State.
Right.
Like that's what I was hanging on. So I'm like, it's hard for me to enjoy that game. The Notre Dame Penn State, as I said, maybe the one good thing about hating all four of these teams is I could just watch football, right, and try to enjoy it.
Are you going to watch the game? Before we were talking, you may not.
Because I really my first gut instinct was, Jesus,
Yeah.
Ohio State's gonna blow these.
Either
blow
all
their
the
doors
doors.
off.
Yeah.
And they still might.
They still might.
But I don't know. As I'm getting closer to it, I'm starting to believe a little bit. That
people really are throwing all Ohio State.
Yeah, they
people
are
really just saying everyone's gonna, and I'm saying it too. I'm thinking that they're probably gonna blow them out, but all of that is all on Ohio State. Everyone is on them, blowing them out, whatever. Yeah. And now you got a team where Ryan Day is in a situation again. Lou Holtz is a guy. Jim Harbaugh was a guy. He said he's born on third base. Now Lou Holtz, he's still got his name in his head. I know he does.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they get the bulletin board material. I do think
they're high favorites.
I think not only does Notre Dame need to have an A game, Ohio State might need to have a C game. Like I think if they're playing their A, it don't matter what game they're in.
Yeah, really. So you're right. Yeah.
That's what scares me. They are a little bit of a mission, you know.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they took that Michigan loss personal, and they're laying it out on the line. And I wonder how much of it is just they're trying to fucking prove to their own fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like that story about Sawyer not being allowed at his favorite wing joint. Did you hear that on the podcast?
That is insane.
What the fuck is wrong?
That is insane.
Kurt was not wrong about the lunatic fringe. It's crazy.
No, it's bad,
it's crazy, man. Like, and I would condemn
they
any
are
Michigan
the
fan
worst
that does that.
fans ever.
That's just crazy. So it's like they just don't deserve the glory of it.
No, they don't.
I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is.
They all say that they're tough on their team and whatever else, but you guys don't even know what it is like to lose. So.
Yeah. Hopefully someday they get to experience that.
Like a losing year,
Yeah,
5 losses in a year.
Losing years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get Sean on.
Yeah.
And we'll recap the Ohio State Texas game with him and get his thoughts as well. The Thunder are absolutely blowing out the Cavs, by the way.
Yeah, we're it's an off night. Maybe a back-to-back night. I don't know.
I want to make sure I'm texting.
Throwing all the excuses at it. Jeez, we are just. Oh my god, it's bad.
I can't remember what number he wanted me to use. I just texted him to call me. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Cavs down 24 with 5 minutes to go. So we probably weren't going to be on the air for the end of this one anyway, but we'll let you know where we're at. We're going to the Cavs game next Monday against the Suns.
So that's awesome.
So next week I'll be ready to talk some Cavs basketball. So see it live.
Michigan basketball, man. They look great, dude.
We're the only team that got 2 7-footers that started. And they say the way the game is now that you can't do it.
We're doing it.
Both those guys can pop a 3 on you too.
Yeah, really.
So, I can't wait for the tournament.
I went back through my betting sites. I have 4 different futures on Michigan to win the whole thing.
4 different ones.
4 different ones. So I have 3 that are $5 win 300, and 1 that is like 15 to win like 5.
Oh,
yeah,
that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
All right, here comes Sean. Sean Betchman, what's going on?
Sean.
What's going on? You're just living in your glory. You're a couple days away from being natty champ, right? Is that what you're feeling?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. See, more confidence. I love it.
I'm telling you, everyone is very confident right now for the Ohio State side.
I was that confident that we were going to beat Michigan.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm probably with you. I was, after that game, I know I was texting you that night. I might have been texting you, Tyler. I don't know who. But I was like, I'm not even fucking watching this title game. Like, they're going to blow their doors off, blah, blah, blah. And as each day has gone by, I'm starting to, maybe they got a shot. I don't know. I'm probably not going to bet on it, but if I did, Ohio State's probably going to cover.
Yeah,
so
really.
That's kind of where I'm at. But let's recap the Texas game first.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on it? I know you're probably anxious to talk about the Travion screen pass and the Jack Sawyer scoop and score. That's the 2 takeaway plays for me. But what else you got for that game? What went well?
Those are definitely 2 great plays. I would say what went well is that for the most part they protected the ball, right? When you had me on the show last week, that was what I told you was going to be the key to them winning, was protecting the ball.
Yep.
And Will Howard threw 1 interception
and that pick got you worried. That's when you weren't texting me until that interception. And you were starting to get a little doubtful.
The crazy thing is, I even told my wife, I said that was the most stressful game that we never trimmed.
Yeah. I agree. And I tell you what, if it really, we talked about this with Dante. We brushed on your game a little bit. my takeaway really was the penalties on Ohio State, the personal fouls and stuff, killing your own drives. If they don't do that, they might have been up 21-0 in that game.
Yeah, really.
And I don't think, I think they would have just laid the whooping from there. So they kind of kept them in it. But, and when Texas tied it, I thought, man, they could not have played a worse first half. And they're going to go into the locker room tied.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're going to get the ball first, second half. I'm like, I think the tide can turn here. And then, boom, a 75-yard fucking screen. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they went to the locker room. I looked at my wife. I said, you want to watch a show? She's like, it's a touchdown game. I'm like, it's over. I'm like, that just
that was it.
Demoralized their team. And we only watched a half hour, and I was back to it pretty quick. But that's why I didn't answer you right away when you texted. I was probably 10 to 15 minutes behind real time when you first texted me. So I just didn't look at it to see what the text was, and I was like, got to get caught up first before I can start texting back. So, but yeah, the Jack Sawyer scoop and score gave me, I don't know if you're old enough for either one of you, but the Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl, the James Harrison pick.
Oh, I'm old enough for that game.
Yeah. Like that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're talking like kind of a 14-point swing, not really. Yeah. The play that actually cost Texas though was how the fuck do you run a outside run from the 1 yard line? You're gonna pitch it out and you lose 7 fucking yards. I mean, that just like that right there was like that's it for the drive. Like never mind the scoop and score. Like you're at the fucking 1 yard line.
How do you not score?
Pound it in there, man.
Just
like,
4 times. Run the ball
Texas.
4 times.
You're Texas.
Not put Arch Manning in there and run.
That's a good point.
That's another good point.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, like, yes, does Ohio State have a top 5 defense in the country? 100%.
Their goal line defense is fantastic, but how do you not?
You're the Texas fucking Longhorns.
Yes.
You got 340-pound offensive linemen. So pound the rock, man.
Yeah,
like
right.
I just. And these teams that go into fucking shotguns.
That's what won them some games. Like their offensive line won them games. Why not go and back them again? I don't know.
Yeah, they apparently didn't watch the tape from the Michigan Ohio State game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Sawyer is just. I mean, obviously he's a legend now.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this week he can go enjoy his fucking wings.
Whatever wing place
that was the first I had heard of that. I'm like, that is asinine that you guys, or not you, I know you don't live in Columbus, but like they don't even let him into the fucking wing joint because you lost to Michigan. Give me a break. And he was at least out there defending his honor and defending his team and his field by trying to take their flag away. So, like I have no problem with Jack Sawyer. Sawyer is somebody 15 to 20 years from now, I'll tell my grandkids about and say, as much as I hate Ohio State, here's some players that I have respected and enjoyed watching. And it's easy for me to say that because Sawyer never beat Michigan. But he's up there to me in James Laurinaitis land. Like, I still remember James Laurinaitis, and I loved him. Like, I mean, I can still respect some of the players, not all of them, some of them. I pretty much hate every quarterback that's ever come through your locker room. But they're easy. Quarterbacks are always easy to hate when they're wearing the other uniform. So... But, yeah, man, Sawyer's a beast. Notre Dame's got to be weary of him for sure Monday. And then just the playmakers that are there. I think I read somewhere you guys have 14 5-stars to Notre Dame's 1. So it's just the talent's there. If it's a, equally played game, Notre Dame's going to – or, Ohio State's going to blow them out. Like, they're just going to have to force turnovers. They got to have a sloppy game. Big possession game, slow down the number of possessions Ohio State has. That's the only way to win. Yeah. So, what's your prediction for final score?
Final score, honestly, I think it's going to end up being 35-21. 14 points.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be 35-21.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree there, Sean. Yeah, I probably would agree with that.
And you had a pretty high one for the Texas game. You could have been close had again they finished some of those drives in the first half.
Yeah.
The penalties kind of killed a lot of those drives, but I mean I do think that Texas probably could have played a little bit of a better game. I still think all things equal, Ohio State was probably the better team anyway. I kind of felt that in my bones going into it. The guys are just on a mission. Like we were sitting here wondering, is it the team is pissed off at just losing to Michigan in general, or do you think they're really just trying to prove a point to your own fan base that, hey, Ryan Day's the guy, like you guys try and drive him out of town,
Yeah.
but he's the guy and they're trying to win it for him. Like, what do you think's driving this run?
I think they are kind of pissed off and trying to prove not only their own fan base, but I think everyone that they are the best team, right? I think they truly got embarrassed against Michigan, and that's not necessarily anything against Michigan. Michigan had a down year. I think you even would agree.
Yeah.
This was a down year for them.
It was.
Ohio State should have gone into that game and won easily. They should have, just looking at the two teams.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed, and I think that they took that to heart. But I think the same thing could happen to them Monday against Notre Dame. I think they could go into that game with
thinking they're going to win
be below and get beat because they think they don't have to play as hard as they have against the Texas and Oregon and Tennessee.
Yeah. And I would be worried about that. I mean, like, obviously that was the game last year that kind of triggered Day, with the whole Lou Holtz comments and them being soft and they snuck that one out, but I'm sure you'd be the first to say, I don't want to be in that situation of trying to get a game-winning touchdown in the final seconds. Like, and that's actually, I know you'll probably go back and listen to the podcast, but that was kind of Dante's prediction. He was like, if Notre Dame can keep it close, I like our chances. He's like, if it's going to be a blowout, Ohio State's going to win. Like, he's like, there's no way Notre Dame's going to blow out Ohio State, but don't let us be in that game, right? Like, don't let it be a one possession game. And I kind of agree with him.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened with Michigan. I feel like the only way they can lose is if he tries to prove a point. And when I say him, I'm talking about Day, like he did with Michigan. Like, I'm going to outrun this team. We're going to run it on first and second down and then throw it on third if we need it. Like, if he tries to run the game that way and say, I'm tougher than you, he might get smacked in the mouth. Because Notre Dame's better than us. Like, yes, they do have a D lineman that's down. I would probably put our D line up against theirs, but everybody, I mean, their corners are shut down corners, So it's going to be interesting to see that. Ohio State obviously has the best wide receiving core in the country. So that to me is going to be a good matchup. So if they can lock down those receivers and let them be on an island, it could be a long day. But I still think Ohio State, if they really wanted to, can run the ball. Notre Dame's going to have to get the running game going, of course. But that's the only thing that I think Notre Dame can try to hang their hat on is, last year's game and try to, prove a point, whatever. But I think if they just keeps playing the way they've been playing all through the playoffs, they just look like they're on a mission.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm going to finally pick them. I think I'm going to finally pick them. And then maybe that'll reverse the...
Yeah.
I keep picking against them. Stupidly, I keep saying, like, well, listen, they're probably going to win, but I'm not going to win. I actually do think they're going to win this time. So maybe that'll backfire. A little reverse psychology now.
Yeah.
You're hoping.
Yeah. Everybody be texting me now. Please pick Notre Dame.
I'm interested to see, as much as anything, how well they can shut down Jeremiah Smith. I mean, Texas did it better than anyone has.
Yeah, really didn't get going. Yeah. Yeah, and you still won. I mean, that's a scary thing.
That's a scary thought. Yeah,
that's a scary thought. So, and obviously he's going to be. I mean, he'd be better next year.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. So, of course, there's other pieces that they're losing, but I'm sure you're excited. There's a lot of things going on with our daughter's school. I think they're letting them go in late Tuesday.
No way.
They moved.
What?
We had a basketball game Monday that they moved up. And I was like, hello. We had a basketball game last year on a Monday night, the national championship game. And I remember having to leave with a minute to go in our game because I had to get home before everybody was coming over. So I'm like,
man,
we're not rearranging the schedule for us.
That is crazy.
So the joys of living in Ohio, I guess. We get to have early days now.
Yeah.
Because the Buckeyes are playing for the title. That's crazy. And we're 3 hours from Columbus.
Yeah, well, hey, J.D. Vance said he wants to skip the inauguration Monday to watch the game.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
I forgot he's Ohio guy.
Isn't it during the day anyway?
Should be like an afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Cavs game, MLK Day.
Yeah.
So I'll be home. I'll probably be getting home right when it's kicking off. So I almost don't even want to go to the Cavs games. I feel like it's like 80%, scarlet and gray in that arena.
Probably.
It really will be.
Your made in blue?
No.
Yeah.
I have a Kevin Love jersey. I was talking to a lady at the Akron game, though, and she literally recognized me. If you recall the picture of me and my daughter being on the big screen there.
Yeah.
Or it was a couple days before the national title game. And I was sitting in the reserve seats right in front of her. And she's like, "You look familiar." And then like 20 seconds later, I had commented about going to Ann Arbor all the time. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "That's it. You were the guy with his little daughter at the Michigan stuff on the scoreboard." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like a celebrity in Akron with that. So I promised her, I'm going tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I promised her, because I'm bringing my youngest again. I'm like, I'll go ahead and wear Michigan stuff tomorrow. Just so you can, because I'm sure they'll probably put us on the big screen.
Yeah.
So, and it's on CBS Sports Network. So,
really?
Hopefully we'll get on TV.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
National TV.
I'm going to wear Michigan hat. So the student section is going to give me shit. It's all right. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Sean. Right. Well, we told Dante we're probably going to call you both, win or lose, if you're up for it next week, and we'll kind of recap the game from there. And if Ohio State wins, we're probably going to call Kajawa too. Let him run his shit.
Oh, man, yeah.
We'll give it back, because it'll be, hey, at the end of the day, this will be the first national title for either Ohio State or Michigan where the winner of the national title did not beat the other team.
Yeah.
It's never happened before.
Wow.
So that'll be a first. But I'd like to say good luck, but you know where we stand. So we're Irish through and through.
Yeah.
Before you hang up, though, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Vikings and Michigan fan.
Oh,
what do you
boy.
think about all these rumors or talks that the Browns could try to trade the Vikings for JJ?
Well, so when you listen to this podcast, that's what we led with. We led with some Steelers-Vikings talk. I do think that after the last 2 weeks and some of the rumors I'm hearing, those talks, I don't think, number one, I don't even think the talks ever happened. I don't really think, from the Vikings' perspective, he was on the trading block. I do believe that other teams probably called, but I don't think they were ever really considering it, because I do think at most Darnold would maybe have gotten franchised, and they would still have waited another year for JJ. After the last 2 weeks, I think that's over. I think the JJ era has begun.
Why?
What's that?
I can't even imagine them doing that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Even as a Browns fan, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No, Grant.
Unless you want to be stupid and give us like.
I don't want them to do it either. But
Yeah.
I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, and see, I wouldn't either, because like the other thing that we talked about is situationally, what's unique about JJ with his skill set, he's got to be in the right environment. And the fucking Cleveland Browns is not that.
No.
So I do think I think that I would have been very, very upset, and still would be upset, to the point where I'd have to really consider my fandom for the team. Although I say that, but I mean, I probably would have come around eventually. But I would have been at the point where not only would I have been mad about the prospects of the Vikings contending by getting rid of him, but you're also ruining a kid's career, a kid that I love, that brought the glory back to Michigan. Right?
Yeah.
Like I would take a bullet for this kid no matter who he got drafted by. But the fact that you could potentially take him away from my NFL team and put him in a situation, whether it was just the Browns, the Giants, or God forbid even the Jets, like any of those situations would have been bad for him. There's other teams, like I think if he went to like the 49ers, yes, I think he could shine there.
Yeah.
Homer would hate it, but I do think that there's teams out there in situations that he would thrive in, and I happen to think we're one of them. So I'll be interested to see what they do, but I do think after these last 2 weeks, there's no question he's going to be the day one starter next year, and I'm here for it.
I think he probably deserves the chance.
Yes, yeah. We've never had a franchise quarterback in my lifetime, so it's time to see what we have in it.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you asking.
Yeah.
I had to ask, because that's both your Michigan
I know.
as well as Vikings.
Yeah.
That's why I got the JJ Foundation smiley face literally tattooed on my left wrist.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it, and if he brings us a Super Bowl, I might have to get the Lombardi and the
Right
national
next to it.
championship trophy right around it.
Oh,
So it would just, I mean, he would become my favorite player of all time. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's hands down. Like, how would you ever top that? You know, so if he wins the
I'll
Super
cheer
Bowl,
for him
holy
if
shit.
he takes the Vikings to the Super Bowl.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I will call his dad and be like, dude, I'm sorry, I'm adopting your son. He's marrying my oldest right now. He needs to be my son-in-law. So,
God, that would be so fun if that happened. Oh, God.
well, I know how much fun Tyler and I had last year. So, for the sake of you,
Yeah, for
the
you.
sake of you,
Yeah.
I hope you're happy Monday night. I'm not gonna be if they win.
No, I'm not going to.
You got to give me a couple days before you text me.
Either way, no matter who.
I really don't like Notre Dame either. You're
Yeah.
right, but I will genuinely be happy for my friend Dante. Like there's people I will be happy for, but you may not hear from me for a couple days.
Yeah.
Either way. So
Yeah.
don't
So what you're
think.
saying is you won't be on the work meeting on Tuesday morning if I.
Oh God, no.
No.
I mean, my camera ain't coming on, and I'm muting the shit out of both you and Joe. It's coming.
Oh, man.
All right, Sean. Well, good luck. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Sean.
I appreciate you guys having me.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right, man.
All right. Well, let's give our predictions for the game officially.
Yeah, let's
And
do it.
Then we'll take a quick break and go back to
NFL.
the NFL recap and then this weekend's games.
It's a 4-game preview, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're done talking about Steelers and Vikings.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of probably already laid the foundation a little bit. I mean, again, if I'm being completely unbiased, I think Ohio State's going to win 31-17.
Yeah, I'm probably right around there. I think that they can probably throw 40 up there, but I'll say 38-20.
38-20?
38-20. 18.
All right, writing them down. So we got 3 Ohio States, all covered.
All covered.
We all got covered. It is still
It's 7.5, right?
Oh, it's down to 7.5. I know it.
Oh, it was up?
opened at 9.5.
Let me check. Whose line is it? Anyways.
But the one thing I will say, I do agree with Dante that if this is a one possession game, I think Notre Dame can pull it out. Late.
In the end of it.
If we're talking about whether they're trying to make a stop or score to win, I think they can come through. If they keep it close, I think the doubt will start to creep in.
Yeah.
I'm just predicting another fast start. That's what I feel like is going to happen. And then I think similar to Texas, I think Notre Dame can hang around. You know, but I think it could be.
They have a great
14-17 nothing.
Yeah.
In the first quarter, and then they're just kind of playing catch up the rest of the game.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like is going to happen.
They have a great defensive line, and I have yet to see anyone really penetrate the hurt Ohio State offensive line, and they got to do that.
Yeah.
At least this game.
Yeah.
They got to get to Will Howard a couple times.
If they can force, the Buckeyes to, again, if they can make the game like the Michigan game, they 100%. I mean, they've got more horses than Michigan did.
Right.
I don't know if they don't have the. I don't think Notre Dame's in their head the way Michigan is in Day's head and Ohio State players' heads right now. They don't have that kind of rivalry.
Yeah.
But it helps a little bit that they played last year.
Definitely.
For some of the players that are still left over.
Yeah.
So,
right. The line is 8. OC minus 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, I hope we're wrong.
I know. You finally picked Ohio State.
We're rooting for Notre Dame, but I am officially finally writing it. Ohio State wins the game. So
I knew they were going to win this whole thing. I freaking knew it.
I had a bad feeling about it as soon as the brackets came out. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I almost, I saw that. If Ohio State would have made the Big Ten championship, I think they would have beaten Oregon. They would have ended up with the top seed. Maybe they lose
because of the way Oregon
we're still
happened.
Talking about how these buys hurt. I mean, I just feel like Michigan winning, and so that's what we got to kind of ask ourselves. Like we kind of are making fun of this whole lunatic fringe thing from the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And all those fans that they were being asked, what would you rather do? Would you rather win today against Michigan? This was before the Michigan game. Would you rather win against Michigan or win the national championship? And the fans were literally answering, I'd rather beat Michigan. So we almost have to ask ourselves, if we really truly think that had Michigan lost and Ohio State won and they end up winning the Big Ten, getting the bye, and maybe they lose the first round of the playoffs, as Michigan fans, would we have rather have just lost that game if that equaled Ohio State not even winning a playoff game.
Yeah, I
If
would
we
have.
were looking in the future.
If I knew what the bye weeks did to these teams, to each bye week's team, because each one of them lost, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And if I would have known, then yes, I would have lost.
then you hate them.
I truly hate them. And now I might be a lunatic fringe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm talking next year. I said it like, when we won against Ohio State. I did say I'd rather beat Ohio State. Now, the way I saw Ohio State play into this playoff and the way they made it, all the way they made it, I thought last week was National Championship week. They won that game. Now they're here. Maybe I'm seeing the other side of that.
So
maybe I am seeing I won a national championship and I can lose to Ohio State, whatever. Like, I guess.
okay. Well, for me, it's situational. It's situational for me. So because we have the streak going,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more happy that we kept that going
Yeah.
than like if it equals Ohio State winning the title. Okay, like that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah.
We still at this point own them, and I'll take that. If we had we lost maybe last year, and obviously we wouldn't want that to happen because we won the national title.
Yeah.
But let's say we don't have a streak going against them, then I would rather have said, fuck it, I'll lose a second straight year to them if that means bad playoff juju's and then they're out. Because I hate them enough that I don't want them to win the title, of course. But I'm not willing to say I would trade it for a Michigan win.
Yeah, no, I guess.
With the way the streak's going right now.
Yeah, right, right. That's what I'm saying.
Different circumstance if it's 5 years from now and there's not really a streak because we're going back and forth or something.
Yeah.
Then whatever,
It feels like this is the only game that's an actual rivalry anymore, though. Especially with this.
No, but I
way
still
that
feel
it's
like
happened
it's going to be, and this is almost the beginning of it. Like this is like we won the damn game and they're still going to win the national title. Like I said, that's never happened.
That's awful
because we have an expanded playoff now. Like, this game always meant something, and if you lost that game, you were out of the national title or the playoff picture.
Right.
Like, that's just the way it went, And more recently, it meant the winner of this game was in the playoff. It's never going to mean that anymore. Now,
and
like,
what happened?
It might if we're ranked 10 and 12.
Yeah.
When we play each other, the loser's probably out. So maybe at that point the game means something,
Right.
But if we're both in the top 5 or something, see you next week. Or see you in a couple weeks.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just like it takes away from it.
You're going to start sitting players. You're going to start.
You're not going to show everything.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's in 5 years.
It's always going to be big. It's always going to be big. The bragging rights, but it's almost no different. Like it's like the NFL, right? Like your division rival, you play them twice a year. As big as it is, it's not the end of the world when you lose.
Right.
That's what this game's going to turn into.
Yeah.
The Steelers did beat the Ravens once this year. What did that end up meaning in the long run? Not really shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm getting at. Is that
it's turning in this whole thing is turning into the NFL.
And it's already doing it in the very first year. Because
it
looks like Ohio State's going to win the title.
Right.
Even though we beat them. As a 5-loss team. It just doesn't mean anything.
It's all turning in NFL, though. It's all turning in SEC, Big Ten. Those are the only two freaking conferences there's going to be. I feel like those are the only two things you're going to be. You're going to have an East and a West. You're going to have divisions and the way the transfer portal is now and the way these players can get paid, it's just turning into the NFL. It's a TV show, and that's a whole other conversation I could have another hour.
Well, one more thing I want to bring up, and it's college football related, and then we'll take a quick break, go back to the NFL. So Joel Klatt yesterday, you said you had missed it.
I did.
He is talking about Army Navy being moved to the beginning of the year. So
I love it.
When I saw the headline, I didn't like it. I'm like, tradition, whatever. But because of the way the playoffs are, the conference championships, the fact that Army and Navy are in the same conference, you can run into that scenario that we're talking about of a potential Michigan-Ohio State game 3 times a year. Like regular season, Big Ten championship, playoff. I mean, it could happen, right? Less likely with as many good teams in the Big Ten because I feel like if we're 1 and 2, somebody's dropping to 3 or 4, especially because not everybody plays each other. So, but he made a point that there's that possibility that Army Navy play literally in the conference championship, then the regular season finale. Because that's Army played in the damn American championship, then played Navy. So that is backwards. So that right there already, maybe I don't know about the beginning of the year, but why don't we play that Thanksgiving weekend? Although
Yeah.
the flip side of that is Army Navy used to be by itself, but then they literally shared the day with bowl games. There were bowl games on that day that Army Navy was on. I remember I was watching Slippery Rock in the Division II semifinals, so I was I had the Army game on in the living room, Slippery Rock on in the sunroom.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to watch both, and I remember thinking, God, this is the first time I've ever had it. Like I couldn't just watch Army Navy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're talking about like a week 0 game, which I hate week 0 by the way.
I know,
hate
me
that
too.
line statement,
Yeah.
but it's there, so I got to say.
That's what I was going to say.
And then
Make it week 0.
there's usually other games like this year. Florida State, Georgia Tech were there, so there's other games, but that would still probably be the highlight. It's going to be the game of the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I'm sold on it. I think the fact
Put it
that
in Ireland.
it is.
No, I don't think that's probably not American enough, actually.
Yeah. The other reason I like it, it makes it more appealing to go see the damn game. Like, a lot of times, like every time I talk about maybe going, the weather's unpredictable. We're on the East Coast. We're playing in DC, Philly, or if they get the home games, and to drive out east in the middle of December, it's a crapshoot of what kind of weather you're going to get into.
Yeah,
but
right.
If you're talking, play this game late August, mid-August,
right.
that's a different scenario. Like, let's go,
Man.
and then I'm not missing a Michigan game for it. So if it's on week 0, so. I'm intrigued by it. I mean, I'll see how much steam it picks up. But,
Right.
You can definitely sell me on that for sure to start the year.
Me too. Oh, for sure. I would love that. Love that. Army Navy week is always a great week, anyways, and to make it the highlight of the weekend for week 0.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make week 0 what it is, I would do that. That's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's take a quick break and then we'll finish up NFL.
Yeah. Okay, we're back. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL now. The rest of the games we already talked about, of course, our teams, but we are now talking about. We'll just go in order from what happened. So we'll start at, what is that, Saturday? Was that Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Jeez, oh my
How
God. It
about
feels like an eternity.
every single game the Texans have ever played in the playoffs have been Saturday at 4:30.
Really?
Every single game.
That's
And
crazy.
and they have that window again this weekend.
Wow.
There was literally a graph that was on Facebook. It was like, have you ever played...
Roger Goodell
How
hates the
was it?
Texans.
Have you ever not played at 4:30 on a Saturday in the playoffs? And it was like yes, and every NFL helmet was in there.
Yeah.
And then the Texans by themselves, no. Like literally, I've only played at 4:30.
Wow.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
that's all about.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
This game, though, man, the Chargers their defense started out so hot, got 2 field goals, couldn't punch them in, and Herbert career high interception of 4 times. He only had what, three all
the entire
year,
year. There was 4 in one game.
and it ended up like that.
The turning point in this game,
Man.
I had to watch some of it. I was at my youngest basketball game. And so I was watching on my phone and wasn't missing much. We left it with a 6-0, and when I turned it off there and decided I would pick it up when I recorded, it was still 6-0, but Houston was driving. But the Texans, there was a couple turnovers kind of back and forth from both teams, kind of like mid-second quarter, and Houston was pinned on their own like 25, and a snap went like a mile over Stroud's head.
Yeah.
Went and retrieved it. You thought, okay, he's going to try to throw it away. He ended up completing a pass out of it. And so they were looking at either, number one, maybe a fumble, could have been a return, Chargers up 2 scores, or a 20-yard loss on a sack. Most likely Houston ends up having.
Yeah.
And instead, that's the drive that they ended up going out and scoring. So that play just kind of, the wheels fell off the Chargers at that point. I picked Houston. I was one of the rare ones that went on that train.
I actually picked Houston. I think I picked Houston last week. And then right before the game, I'm like, Chargers. And I bet the Chargers.
Yeah.
And
there's a
of
lot
course
of people
they
talking
lost.
to them. Yeah.
But yeah.
I was watching the ESPN Countdown show. I think they all picked. I think Brewski picked Houston. They all went Chargers on that one. But yeah, Houston's pass rush looked great.
They did look
Stroud
good.
had one of his best games, but the defense just came to play.
Yeah.
And
They were flying after they finally figured it out on offense. That defense just kept going. When they scored in the fourth, the Chargers scored in the fourth, missed the field goal, and then they got the 2-point, right? Was that the game? Yeah. All the way back. Yeah. I thought when they scored that touchdown, and then I thought maybe, just maybe, they could come back, and then they had that 2. They returned that for the 2 all the way, and I'm like, that's it. And they didn't even have to score the other touchdown. They still did. So crazy. But Ladd McConkey, man, the future of the Chargers.
Yes,
He
yes.
is awesome.
Yeah, dude,
9 catches, a touchdown, 100. It's almost 200 yards.
Yeah, dude,
Freaking crazy.
Dude can play.
I think the Chargers will be back. Jim Harbaugh's got them in a great spot. I mean, from last year to this year, it's night and day. It's going to be cool to watch for that. So,
And good luck to him. He's having hip replacement surgery.
is he? He's always when he got older in Michigan, you could always see
Yeah.
like his hips were.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, we can skip the Steeler game. We already talked that one.
Yeah, we're good there.
Sunday, Denver. I think it was Denver Buffalo.
Yeah, Denver Buffalo. I didn't watch a whole lot of this. I knew what was going to really happen here.
Denver, punched him in the mouth.
In the beginning,
half,
in the beginning, they
7-0
scored a
lead.
touchdown.
Nate Burleson picked him on the pregame, which I was a little surprised about.
Mhm.
Raised eyebrows for sure when they scored on the first drive. And then they really couldn't do much the rest of the game. So Buffalo went right back down the field and I think field goal first, and then they scored.
Yeah, they had a field goal first, and then the second they went and scored a touchdown.
I missed about an hour's worth of it.
Mhm.
Our cable went out here. So,
No.
Yeah, so I missed like an hour of that, an hour of the
Oh,
game that day, or more of that. But
yeah.
I watched a little bit on my phone, and Buffalo was kind of taking control when that happened anyway.
Mhm.
So I didn't really miss much. And the Bills absolutely can still get the Super Bowl. It was my Super Bowl pick when it first started. The playoffs. I'm a little scared now they got to play Baltimore.
I know.
Around, I did not have that matchup like when I was kind of filling up the bracket.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I decided to pick because I still don't know how much way I want to go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that game last. And maybe I'll have a pick by then.
By then,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean Denver's. I think that was kind of like the Vikings, right?
Right.
A little bit overachievement. Nobody expected them to be there.
Yeah.
Just making the playoffs was probably,
I
good
think
enough.
right, and I think that this Broncos team, just like the Chargers, I think they're just fine.
Yeah.
Especially Sean Payton, maybe just found his guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, Bruno Nix looks good. So we'll see. But yeah, I like the Broncos. To their defense, like you said already in the show, the defense looks good too. So next one, Eagles Packers. I really thought the Packers could do it. I did.
First time in my life I bet Green Bay.
Oh.
I had a parlay going. I won the first fucking 3 games.
Yeah.
And then I lost this one.
Oh.
It ended up being my only loss. I was pissed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the one time I was kind of rooting for him because I wanted, obviously the Vikings didn't end up winning, but I was hoping that Green Bay would go to Detroit,
Yeah.
let one of them beat each other up, and then I was rooting for Washington, which Washington won, and I was hoping for a home game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was rooting for. So, yeah, I mean, it was so funny, like, Tony was making fun of me because everything that was going wrong with the Packers usually doesn't go wrong with them. Penalties were going against them.
Yeah.
And notoriously, they always get the calls, and I'm like, it figures,
Right.
The one time I rooted for them, and she's like, well, you deserve this. She's like, you actively hate watching them all the time.
Yeah.
And now that you need them, I mean, they're completely laying an egg. Couldn't fucking score in the first half.
Yeah.
Missed a chip shot field goal. And it was a lot like that Notre Dame Penn State game. Like, the Eagles were kind of dominating play. And if Green Bay gets that field goal, I mean, it's 10-3.
It's 10-3 at the half.
But Jordan Love's overrated. I do. He is garbage.
It is. I mean, you can't throw 3 interceptions in this game.
No.
And especially like you were just saying, 10-3 at the half, and then you come out. But now that you didn't even have that in the first half, and then the 3 interceptions just completely tormented them. I think, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year with him.
I'm not impressed with the Eagles. I mean, that was the other.
Me either. I think they can get beaten next week.
I do. I'm a little bitter at the Rams right now, but I do feel like, even after Green Bay lost this game, I started thinking, and once Washington won, it's like, okay, now if we win, we go to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I wanted to avoid Detroit one more week. And the way the Eagles played, I'm like, let's just get this Rams win, and the fucking Eagles look beatable.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm still bummed about that. I think the Rams could go in there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I'm ready to pick them, but I'm like, I just don't, I just didn't see it for me. Like, the Eagles' first touchdown was after the fumble kick.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get it till third down,
right?
And then they couldn't score touchdowns until late in the game. So I don't know. And Goddard, I tell you what.
Did you see that stiff form?
All 3 of them.
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
Dude, when he was running all the way, and he just stiffed armed that guy like 3 different times. He was like, "Freaking get off me!" It was awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was freaking sick. So, Yeah, I don't have much else. I think the Eagles can get beaten. No.
Yeah.
I don't think they're.
They're not going to the Super Bowl.
No.
So
no.
whether the Rams get them or they lose the NFC Championship, I just don't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give in. Saquon ran 25 times. You got to keep doing that.
Yep.
Got to keep just giving him the rock. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The nightcap. Sunday Night Football. Commanders 23, Bucks 20. What a win.
Probably the game of the weekend. I mean,
Yeah, I
there's
think
a
so.
lot of blowouts
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
The doink to win.
Really, all of them were. They're all double digits except for that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the doink to win. Boy, when that ball came off his foot, I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Like, it was drifting to the right. I'm like, oh, my God. So, I mean, the bad thing is I don't think they have a prayer against Detroit.
Yeah.
So it was fun that they won that game.
I don't think they have a.
I was
a
more
shot
mad
here.
because once Green Bay couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, great, now Detroit's got to fucking take
Right.
over the game.
Yeah.
Like, I was.
This is their practice round to get back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I was kind of like, well, Tampa, because if Tampa would have won, Tampa would have went to Philly, which then the Vikings Rams would have went with Detroit. And I'm like, okay, like I wanted to avoid them for a week, but I'm like, the reality is if you want to get to the promised land, we're going to beat this team anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, kind of accepting that at that point. But yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for Baker. He kind of put it out there a little bit. The Bucs defense had gone how many games without giving up a touchdown?
I know.
Second half. I mean, it was kind of a crazy stat. James Daniels is going to be good for years to come.
Yeah, I do.
I do think I think they're going to be overmatched.
I think he is the next Lamar. I really do. The way he's able to run and find the holes and to step up and to run in wherever he's got to go and just makes it the first down. I think he can be that kind of guy, the kind of caliber player. Yeah, too bad for the Bucs. I kind of actually wanted to see them win this game. I kind of did.
They could have been a sneaky fun team. I feel like, and especially the way Philly was playing.
Yeah.
I think Tampa could have went down to
I'm
won. And
yeah.
And who knows? I mean, if they end up they got the NFC Championship. They were one of the two teams to beat the Lions this year.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and I'm a Baker fan, even though I didn't like him when I was on the Browns, but he did what he did for Oklahoma in the Ohio State game, and I like him for that. So I wanted him to win. I wanted to see him do good in Tampa.
You mean when he committed the felony?
The felony.
The flag.
I don't know if that's been passed yet or not, but we'll see.
What a joke!
What a joke!
Like we don't have other things to fucking worry.
I know, really.
Yeah.
Fix our systems, please. Like there's something else other than planting a flag. So.
Cavs are down 36 with 8 minutes.
Yeah, this game's over. This game's over. Shea is amazing. He's just 32. He could be. This is who. He's the next guy. When LeBron leaves, like that's our league. I think it's in him. Yeah. It's in him. So.
Cavs had their largest
a lot of weight
deficit of the year at 26. It's just one of those nights. I mean,
yeah,
they're going to happen in the NBA. It's going to be their second loss this week. Although they avenged the loss with Indiana. So even again, they beat Thunder a week ago.
Yeah,
they kind of split that. They split Indiana this week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they can get back on a run again.
Yeah, now I don't know about winning. We were on pace to go 73-9, but I don't. After this last, we're not. Yeah.
I just don't believe that anyway, even with that hot start.
Right.
And it's no offense to them. I think there's just that much more parity in the league. And it's hard.
I mean, it's not 2015 anymore. It is a different league for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So good recap. Anything else for that game that you wanted to talk about?
Not really. Again, I'm sure there were other things that I probably wanted to say or meant to say, and I got to get better at jotting down notes.
Well,
this one for 1 week.
This week there's 4 games, so maybe this is right.
Yeah. So.
There's a lot of games on Sundays when you're trying to think about each one.
Especially, recording some of them, so like I'm just worried about getting caught up and not watching them live and absorbing them as much. So,
I will say these 4 games are perfect time slots for me, especially on Sunday. That the last game's at 6:30. Yeah. That's so nice for me.
I'm gonna be a little late back Saturday, most likely. We got a softball tournament, but I won't be too far behind. And then I think we're gonna have a game early Sunday at like noon. So I'll be pretty caught up.
I'm watching all of these games.
I forgot those are a little later time frames too. They don't start at 1 on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
3 and 6:30, which kind of gets you ready for championship weekend anyway.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
So,
so
I'm good on a recap. Let's preview.
Yeah, first one Saturday, 4:30. Chiefs Chiefs are -8 right now. Over under is 41.5.
Okay.
In this spot, I'll let you go first.
You want me to go
I'll
first?
let you go first. I kind of want to hear what you want to say for this.
I've actually been saying it since Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's my upset of the week. I think the Houston Texans are going to beat
Man.
outright.
Man. Yeah.
Outright. That pass rush. I'm telling you, I think the Chiefs made a huge mistake with sitting everybody.
They sat everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah. That
And they were
Broncos
going to
game.
buy anyway. I think they come out. They already looked, beatable all season. Had always close games. All of that. Nobody's giving the Texans a chance. Houston played them not so long ago, and played them tough.
No, yeah, it was a tough game. That's when. That's when
It was a Saturday game.
Nico. No, not Nico. Who went down? And Joe
Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell
Yeah.
went down. They
The
had a
only
terrible
thing I'm
injury.
scared about, again, I've been saying it all weekend,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as the matchup was made. The only thing that did give me pause is a couple hours ago I read that Joe Mixon is questionable.
Oh,
If Mixon's out,
yeah,
I change my mind.
yeah,
But if he's there, so again,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to bet it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually already bet it in a parlay.
Okay.
I did put it in a parlay.
yeah.
But I might bet it single-handedly. I'm gonna wait to see if Mixon plays.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
That's the big one.
Are you taking money line? He's like
Money
one
line.
outright.
I think the Texans went outright.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe if Mixon's out and that line stays at 8, and that might have been why I peaked up. If it stays over a touchdown, I might still take the points. I still think Houston is going to play them tough.
Yeah.
Just because that's what Kansas City's been doing.
Right.
Anyway,
They've been squeaking
I'm all
by
over, I'm all over
anyways.
the points.
Yes, I am
Mixon
too.
or not.
I am all in on +8
Okay.
because the Chiefs have just completely squeaked by. Feels like on everyone. They haven't scored more than 30 points. You said this year.
Yeah, I'm not.
So
Which
it's
is why the under is where it is.
yeah, and to have 15 wins right now where they're at, it's freaking insane. So I'm all over the points. I am gonna take the
I don't know
Chiefs.
how I feel about the over-under. I feel like the final score is going to be like 24-17.
Yeah,
One way or the other.
which is
So
yeah,
you're right there. So
Yeah, you're right there.
I got no advice for that. I'm going to be talking.
Yeah.
But
I do think this game can go over, especially the way CJ Stroud played last week. If he's on the up and up, I think they can score a lot of points, and the Chiefs are going to have to score points. So, and I know they can make a drive when they have to. I'm going to take the points, but I think the Chiefs are going to advance. So,
okay.
yeah. Next one,
Saturday night.
Lions Commanders, 8:00, Detroit -9.5.
Lions all win.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, really?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, total's 55.5. Maybe under on that. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but yeah, I like the Lions. I think the Lions are
They're scoring 40. So I think it's going over.
I think it's
I
going.
think the
Yeah,
Commanders are going to end up with 14-17,
sure.
somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
But I think Detroit's going to over 40.
Yeah, this is like a game where they can just like get back up or wake up. I mean, they took the week off. Montgomery's back. Take the week off. Now you're back. You're just trying to ramp up everyone.
Yeah.
This is a game you can just squeak by on that. So
Yeah. They're going to host the NFC Championship. I think it was.
it was destined in the
line.
stars.
It's
Yeah.
this. We'll see. Who that matchup ends up being.
Yeah.
Whether or not they advance, but I kind of have a feeling they're going.
Yeah.
They're going now.
They're
And it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I'm not real happy about it. A lot of it obviously is jealousy,
Mm.
being in the same division. If the Lions win the whole damn thing, it's going to suck that we're the only team in the division that has not won it.
Yeah.
And for a franchise like the Lions to win it before we do,
Oh.
with all the years of sucking, just is a little bit of a dagger. So I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
But they're winning this game. I'm just going to take it one week at a time right now.
Yeah, they're going to win this game.
They're going to win this game.
I agree. Okay, Sunday, we go to Sunday, Eagles, Rams, Philadelphia -6.5, over, under, 43.5. In Philly, give me the Rams.
You want the Rams outright?
I love the Rams.
Okay.
They're just going to keep rolling.
Okay.
They are on a hot streak, especially the way, I think they won their last game of the year. Is that the one that some people sat?
They lost.
No,
to
they
Seattle
sat.
because they had Garoppolo
That's
starting,
right.
Which is why they end up at the
Yeah.
at the 4 seed. If they would have won, it would have.
That's right. We would have got the 3. That's what we
It
talked
would have
about.
been the 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Now
crazy.
looking back, I wish I had said
Yeah.
I didn't want to play Tampa Bay. Maybe
Maybe.
we should have. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, so I'm going to take the Rams. I like the Rams. I think that if they can keep pressuring the quarterback like they did in Minnesota or with Minnesota, yeah, I'm taking the Rams.
I'm gonna, even though the Eagles look like shit, and if the Vikings had won, I would have taken the Vikings in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
But the Eagles line is a hell of a lot better than Minnesota's. I don't think they're going to let the pressure get to them.
Yeah.
Hurts probably needed the game to kind of get back. The Eagles are going to they're going to do what the Vikings didn't do and couldn't do because they got behind. They're going to be able to run the football a lot better than we could to kind of alleviate that pass rush as it is. And again, they're definitely not sacking Hurts 9 fucking times. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Eagles. I do think the Rams could win. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take. I think Philly doesn't even need to play an A game to win this game. They can kind of still probably breeze through matchup wise. I like the Eagles in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Honestly, maybe Saquon can probably just run all over him if they want. Probably wants to. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I like that we're different on a lot of these games. The only game right now is the Lions that we agree on. But
yeah,
I love that we're different.
We are
on the other two so far.
Yeah.
We should do a point system this week.
I know, really though.
I almost feel like I'm so torn on this next game anyway. I might just go against whatever you say.
Well, I already know. I actually like this next game. Ravens, Bills.
You're all over somebody. All right.
I'm all over the Baltimore.
You're all okay.
Yeah. For the reason of I want to lose the Super Bowl winning team if they can go all the way and do it.
Even a division round. That doesn't.
It doesn't really like. Of course, like no. I don't think I have the hatred like you have the Packers. You know, and I don't think I have like.
Should.
I probably should. I mean, I hate the Browns more than I hate the Ravens, but I hate the Raptors too.
Just because we live in Ohio, like, is it just more your?
Yeah, it's more of
more Browns fans.
Right. I want to beat them. I want to sweep them every year. Okay. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Of course, it would suck if the Ravens won the whole thing, but I do think I want to see that our loss isn't as bad as what it was.
Okay,
that's what I'm.
Like it's justifiable.
Justifiable.
That makes sense.
If they can even make it and not lose it, that'd be perfect. Perfect in my eyes. Okay. If they can make Super Bowl and lose it.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, I like the Ravens. Love them.
This is what I'm torn about. I'll say this. I said it.
This is finally Lamar's year. That's what I'm saying.
I said it about Ohio State, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl.
I like
and part of that is I've got Houston in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
So the winner of this game is hosting. I think they're better than the Texans on paper anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be the favorite. So I think the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl. If it's one of those, like, what I'm scared of is Baltimore being favored and Baltimore beating Buffalo earlier in the year.
Ooh, yeah.
So
yeah,
if I would not have known the line,
do you know it right now?
And the last time I looked, Baltimore was a favorite by 1.5.
It's one. Okay, yeah, it's one. Okay. Yeah.
Baltimore's favored. Yes, it's a point.
Yeah,
but they're on the road, so you're really actually saying Baltimore by 4 because you're giving us 3, and they already beat them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is a matchup thing. And yes, if the Ravens, I'll say the same thing like they did against Steelers. If Henry carries the ball 25, 30 times, Baltimore's going to win. I mean, if he's getting that many carries, that means they're controlling it. They're probably going to win.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Buffalo's due. You know, so because I know that Baltimore's favorite, Bills are at home, I'll ride with the Bills.
Orchard Park.
And I love the fact that
we were different.
That we're different.
Yeah.
In 3 of our 4 games, it gives us some banter to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up. I feel like one of us.
I feel bad now.
I feel like one of us is going to win 2 of those. Like.
Yeah.
You know, I feel.
But I'm hoping I don't get like 1 and 3 here. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping.
Yeah.
That if you have the hunch,
2 and 2 could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
God. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, I did a parlay already with the first 3 games because I don't trust this game. So it might end up being a game I still stay away from. Even like if anything, maybe I bet it 2 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah,
I just have a feeling, especially I feel like if Baltimore keeps getting, if the line keeps getting higher for some reason. That's the only thing that scares me. If I never would have looked at that line,
it would have been.
I still might have done the Bills only because of the factor of the Ravens beating them earlier in the year. Maybe I still pick the Bills. So I guess had they not played, if I didn't know the line.
Dude,
I probably would have picked Baltimore.
Yeah, But it has
But
to.
I'm already, to me, it's like I'm already picking one road team.
Yeah,
Houston upset, so I'm like,
that's a good point.
I'm just gonna say,
This is. Oh, I have two now.
yeah,
I have two.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
So
Divisional round is doable.
Yeah. The Lamar has to get over the hump. That's what I think this year is for him. I think that he can make it to the Super Bowl and maybe he can win the whole thing. I don't think he can do that if it's like the Chiefs. Unfortunately, like if it's Chiefs Ravens, like I don't think he's gonna get over the hump. I don't. But he needs to get over this hump right here in this game, the divisional round, make it to the championship game, and maybe win that. But he's got to start
were in
figuring
the
it out.
championship game last year.
He was,
Um,
and he's pissed off still from that.
Yeah.
For the Chiefs,
Yeah.
they did it. They did it to him already, and I don't know. He's got to make it
you're
to
right.
Super Bowl. This
I'm,
might be the year for him.
I'm picking Buffalo just on a betting hunch,
Mm-hmm.
and just to try to be different from you.
That's fair.
I said at the top of the show.
Yeah.
This is a truly toss-up game.
It is. It should be
You
a
know,
pick 'em. It really should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like
The fact that it's one is.
I
don't know.
maybe I'm taking Buffalo at home. Like maybe that's another little tiebreaker.
If this place is filled
neutral
with
field,
yeah.
Baltimore, I'm all over Baltimore.
Yeah.
That place I think is crazy, but neutral field I probably would think Ravens.
Yeah.
But
I should have talked about
I'm
that.
gonna run the Bills. So
Yeah, the Bills.
just gonna do it.
I will say Baltimore was loud for the Steelers-Baltimore game, and there was I don't think there was noise pumped in there. I mean that place, I was shocked at how loud it was. If there's 20 feet of snow on the ground and they're shoveling it away for 2 days before this game happens, give me the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like if not, if it's a clear sky day, clear sky night, give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens.
It was a 39-point game. With
Yeah.
2:51 to go.
Yeah,
In the third,
that's all for us, folks. So.
112 to 72.
Yeah.
I can't wait
God.
to watch this game. Honestly,
That's such a great
I love
game.
that it's.
I'm watching all
Capital
these
game.
games. Yes,
Yeah.
that game's at 6:30. Like I don't have to go to it's not gonna be 11:30 when I'm dead.
10 o'clock when it's over. It's great.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. And I don't think we talked about what day next week yet. We'll discuss it when we get off the air.
Yeah, we can figure it out. Yeah,
And I'm sure it'll be midweekish.
yeah,
somewhere
probably
in the
again.
ballpark. We'll get Sean and Dante back, win or lose for that game.
Crazy.
We won't have as many games to recap. We won't have to talk about our team in depth.
Yeah,
I
really.
do want a table. I want to get Chris on maybe in a couple weeks.
That'd be
Let's
great.
get
I would
through the
love
title
to hear
game.
what he said. Yeah.
Let's get through most of the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get him on maybe the week before Super Bowl or something,
Yeah.
and go from there. So,
All right.
all right. Well, I think it's safe to say even with 2 minutes to go in the third, the Thunder are going to win tonight.
Yeah.
So even though we didn't stay with you to the end of this game, we pretty much know.
We know what's going on.
So
So.
we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Love you guys.